Did you know at this very moment someone is on Amazon and Etsy actively looking for a quality coloring and activity book to add to their shopping cart? The only question is, will it be yours? Since you're listening to this podcast, hence the name of the show, it's pretty safe to assume that you have a keen interest in creating and selling your first or next coloring book. And it's for that reason I want to assure you you're in the right place. And I'd like to help you make it a reality by inviting you to check out the Coloring Book Creator Mentor Program, the first of its kind complete A to Z course that features live weekly coaching, resources, templates, and an extremely supportive online community, all designed to assure that you create a standout in-demand coloring book that you'll actually enjoy creating, promoting, and selling. Imagine the feeling of knowing somewhere in the world someone is adding your beautiful new book to their shopping cart, investing in a piece of your creativity. Enrollment is open and you can get started by going to coloringbookcreatorcourse.com. That's coloringbookcreatorcourse.com. You're listening to the Coloring Book Creator Podcast, Episode 4. The interview you're about to listen to is from a 5-part series I produced called Coloring Book Creator Live, featuring 5 students from my Publish and Promote Your First Coloring Book in 30 Days Challenge program. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy the conversation with coloring book author Marsha Ashley, creator of the coloring book and arts therapy journal, Do All Things with Kindness. Enjoy. Marsha, how are you?
Hi, Rodney. I'm good, thank you.
Let's just get right into it. You have a beautiful journal book, but I want to learn more about you. Who is Marsha, and how did you get started? What's your history with creativity and art, and what inspired you to make a book?
Okay, so it's been a long journey, Rodney. What can I say? I've always loved art, always been drawing. When I was a kid, it was always, like coloring, these little felt, whatever it was, I was coloring, I was drawing, I was doing cartoon characters. So it was always like, that's what I wanted to do when I get older, to be a cartoonist. My mom, she was like, not the greatest of drawers. So I used to have to help her to do the drawings. But I think of everything else wasn't really my thing. Reading, writing, all of those ones, but I could draw. So I just thought, do that, go that way. And then I did my degree in graphic designing. So I did it for maybe not for a little while, but then I had to leave and move to another part of the country, of London. So I didn't actually pursue that career as a graphic designer. And it was just like freelance. I was doing it for friends, family, church, whatever it is. So, yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So you came from an artistic background and you pursued a career in graphic design and art making. So you have that history behind you. So let me ask you this question. What made you decide to do a coloring book?
What made me decide to do a coloring book? I think I saw your free bonus thing, do a coloring book. And I think I've always wanted to do something that could get my creativity out there. I've always had an image of doing the fruits of the spirit. During lockdown, we did a Bible study, which I led, and it was so brilliant. It was all about the fruits of the spirit: joy, love, joy, peace, kindness, and such like. And then I always had this idea of having T-shirts with love, joy, peace on it, but I've never actually managed to get it out there. And then when you came online and you was like, coloring book, and I was like, oh, coloring book, why not? Because coloring book is such a relaxing thing to do. And it just felt like the right thing. And then when I saw you sort of like just getting up there and doing it, it wasn't perfect or anything, but I was like, this guy's really got something here. He's just doing it. So I was like, hey, maybe I can just do it. So that's when I decided to join up with your course and just go the whole way and see what happened in 30 days.
So what Marsha is speaking about is in late June, I was given a challenge by someone else to take an idea that was actually already on my heart. to do anyway. And I didn't know quite when I was going to do it or if for sure I was going to do it, but I had gone through this training. This idea came to me to help people find or publish a coloring book. But I first wanted to start with coming up with an idea for a book. And literally, like in a matter of 5 days, with not knowing exactly how I was going to put it together or what it was all going to entail, it just all sort of came to me. And I did this free training. And then after I did the free training, I still didn't know exactly what I was still going to offer next. And Marsha was one of the first people that I said, well, would you mind getting on the phone with me and let's talk about an idea that I might have to see, would you be interested in that? And Marsha and I got on Zoom. And instantly, when I connected with her online, I just felt something so strong about her. I felt she wanted to pursue the idea, but there was something about her in particular that I really resonated with and really connected with. And I just said, I just feel something about you. I'm feeling something really special about you. And we were smiling and laughing. And I was just like, you know how you sometimes connect with someone, but you just feel something special about them. And that was you. So I'm again so grateful that you took a chance on me to help me usher this, because I really didn't know for sure how this was going to come together. So to see the finished product, first of all, getting to know you as a person and as an artist and as a creative, and then to see the beautiful work that you've done. I mean, again, like Michelle's book, all of your books, it just makes me smile when I see, because I know how much of your heart you poured into it.
Yeah, no, you kept saying it's about more than the book. And then when you got and you like share your story, share what it's all about. And when I did start sharing the fact that, you know, I wanted to have a book where people could, you know, use. And I think going through lockdown, I was really grateful to be in a home that was filled with joy and love and peace. And I thought to myself, if this lockdown had happened, I don't know, 20 years ago, I would be in a totally different space, you know, in a place of no love or, you know, violence and such like. And so when I actually shared that, I was like, oh, this gives me much more energy and like, oh, there's a reason why I need to do this book. And then I you know, call it Do All Things with Kindness, because, yeah, and it's called Fruitful Nest. So if you've got the fruits of the spirit and your home, your nest should be fruitful. And then when I spoke to you and you actually got the vision, I was like, oh, he understands what I'm thinking about. So
Yes.
that was very inspiring. And yeah.
You shared with me how having a safe home that was peaceful. And I got the word, because the name of your design company, if I'm correct, is called Fruitfulness.
Yes.
Yes. So when you shared that with me, I just got this like download and almost like this chill come over me, like long before we actually even put the course together. I was like, I can see someone. I remember saying that to you that day. I said, I can see someone sitting on a couch, a woman sitting on a couch, maybe with her child, and she's got your book in her hand and she's coloring it. And then maybe there's like a pillow. Let me just show you a little bit of the inside of the book. She's got some, just like I said, she is a graphic designer. She has a beautiful eye, but she does these beautiful pages. And I just saw this, and the ones that I really, really loved, and they're so incredibly simple that they're almost deceptive because they're so simple. I think you have them in here, or maybe you changed them. Oh, these simple little designs like this, I just thought was so pretty and so thoughtful. I like that because I love a Black background. And then she's got like, the notes and things that you can write in here. And I just thought I could see someone sitting on a couch with your book, and maybe she's got a little pillow behind her with one of your designs in the background, like something like the one here I just showed you. Let me find it again. Something like this, and there's a little black pillow with this design on the back, and she's sitting on the couch and she's working your book, and she's got a cup of tea or something like that. I just saw that for you so clearly that day. And I was really, like I said, again, I want to say it again, I was really grateful that you trusted me to help you bring that into fruition, because I just see it, again, I see it even more clearly now that I have something physical in my hand to touch. So
Great.
thank you. Thank
Thank
you for
you,
that.
because I really appreciate having the push to do it. You committed your time, that 30 days, to us, twice a week, being there on that call. And if I didn't have that, I probably would have just flopped. I would have just gone like, oh, I can't do it. It's too much. I've got work. I've got this. I've got that. And your dream just sort of fades away under the midst of all the stuff that you do as a mom, as a worker, as a carer, all those sort of things. So
Mhm.
yeah, iron sharpens iron. And when you've got good people around you who are motivated, who are artistic and sharing so openly, you can overcome some of those things that stop you, and have a book
Mhm.
come out. It's amazing. And everyone's like, oh my gosh. I gave it to a little girl at church the other day, and she went, oh, it's from a real author. And I was like,
That's what you are now.
it was so
I know.
sweet.
Yeah, I share with all of you all that my vision was to hold your books in my hand. And again, I feel like I sent an email out the other day and I said, I feel like a proud papa, because it's like, everyone's done their books and I see them now. So they're beautiful, beautiful. And I'm so glad to hear those stories. It warms my heart.
Mm.
So, well, again, I've already asked what inspired you, and I've also shared the name of your coloring book. But let's say the name of your book again is called Do All Things with Kindness. I'll share it
Yep.
one more time. Coloring book and art therapy journal. And the tagline you have on here says, think about what you're thinking about, take time to relax and create. And I love that. Let me ask you, who is the book for?
It's for adults, for people who just want to create a home, or just create a safe space. It doesn't have to be a home. It could be your work, your body, whatever it is. So it's aimed at adults, but it's something that you could actually share with the whole family. So I know
Mm.
people have bought them, and their children have actually taken them over. And they're coloring
Oh.
it in, and it's something that you can actually speak along with your children with, because there's one that talks about how full is your cup. Is your cup half full or half empty? And I know Michelle was saying she's that kind of half full person. So yeah, it starts discussions. It doesn't necessarily just for adults. You can actually share it with your family as well.
Hmm. And the inspiration for you again is all around the nest and again building the home. This kind of segues from Michelle's conversation is all of us, not just the children. I'm just as bad. I've got the TV on with the phone in my hand, checking social media. Yes, I'm guilty of it. But I feel unlike a text-based book where you're reading the information, you actually you have to sit down, you have to create a space to actually sit down with the book, whether it's in your lap or on a table or wherever you may be, and
Mm.
get out your pencils and actually think about the colors you want to lay down and actually have that tactile experience of having hand on paper. And I feel that no other kind of book really offers that outside of a coloring book,
Hmm.
because a textbook, you're just flipping pages and reading. And of course, if it's on the phone or on an iPad, again, you're just looking at it, but you're not actually moving your hand and activating another part of your brain.
Yeah.
And to me, that's what makes coloring books so special.
I love that about coloring books. And it's not even too messy. Sometimes you want to do something creative, you've got to get your pens out, your paints, your inks, and all the rest of it. By the time you've done that, your place is a mess. Um,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
you just get
Yes.
your little coloring book out, your little
Guilty.
gel pens or whatever it is, and you can be creative without making a mess.
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. And that's what I love about it. My mom, who is 77, she actually got into coloring as a result of what I was doing.
Mm.
And it's opened up a whole new world for her. She was a school teacher, so she's familiar with the art, but she never thought about it for herself. She thought, well, I only do it with the little ones, as Michelle referred. And she's like, no, this is actually really something that I can do. for myself, for my own mental well-being. This is just such an important topic and art medium and method of expression. So again, I honor all of you for putting your gift out in the world because you're helping all of us
Yeah.
reconnect with that part of ourselves. So I appreciate you for that. What has been the most significant learning experience that you've uncovered as a result of going through this process?
I think the most significant thing is that don't let anything stop you. If you have a dream, if you have a vision to do something, do it. Because I had no idea where I'd get the time, because I just started a new business. Well, no, I started a new care job, and that was meant to be just 3 hours a day. It turned into a living care job while we were doing this course. Okay, so there was just so many hurdles and stuff coming at me, but just keep going, stay the course. I went clamping. We did so many things, but still managed to produce a book, which I haven't been able to do for how many years. And the next thing is like, just do it. It doesn't have to be perfect, because for me, I would want it to be my own illustrations, perfectly done, and all of that sort of stuff. It would have taken me another 20 years, but it will come.
Yes,
But just
yes.
knowing that I can do it now, more will come later, but just do it. Don't have to be 100% perfect. I think
Yeah.
that's the thing.
Yes. Yeah, that seems to be the theme. And I find for myself as a creative and as an overthinker and a person that can live in my head, as I'm sure many of you listening who are, we can overthink things because we worry about judgment. We worry about, was it going to be good enough, or people will think I'm silly. I mean, when I published my book last year, I didn't tell anybody for 3 months. I didn't tell a soul about it. Wasn't necessarily because I was ashamed of it, but I was more concerned. I wasn't ashamed about the book. I knew the book was pretty and I liked it. When I looked at it, I liked it. I was honestly, I thought people would look at me and go, "Okay, you've done all this other stuff. Why are you doing a coloring book? Like what? Like, why are you doing a coloring book?" And so I felt more the judgment from about me. And why was I choosing to do it? And I honestly could say I did it because I was in a place in my life where I didn't want to do all the things that I had done in the past. I had not too long before I lost my father. And so I was still in a mourning period. And I just wanted something that didn't involve me being on the computer all day. I didn't want to do anything that involved a lot of technology stuff, although I used technology to put it together. But I wanted something that was tactile. And I went out and bought paints and pencils and I bought watercolors. I've got a whole bag of stuff. I haven't even cracked the seal on. And I thought, what's something simple I can do? And like I said, I could color. I just get some pencils and I could color. And so a little inexpensive set on Amazon and a book that I had created of my own. And that's how it all got started. What I love about this and why I'm so passionate about this is because we're removing all of the restraints that I need to be artistic. I need to be born gifted as an artist, or I need to be, classically trained. I need to go to the best schools. I need to know all of the different things. And so many people, and you have that history, Marsha, that maybe even if they are accepted into art school, they get into art school, I hear it can be very tough and judgmental. And even if you're doing it, you still can be struggling with embracing your creativity. Do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I totally get how you can be judged, or you can feel like it's not good enough, or it's not like how traditionally it should be done. But I just think that everyone has their own something to give. And if we allow ourselves to be stopped by what's trending or whatever, then that creativity that God's given us, that self-expression of us as an individual, it won't come to fruition. So it's about believing in yourself, believing in what God's given you, and just put it out there, because whatever you produce is going to be different from anybody else's, no matter what way. It's always going to be different. We've all done a coloring book, and each one of them is uniquely different expression. So yeah, don't be stopped by what other people think or say.
And I'm sure you have found this to be your experience too, because I know it was for me when I finally did let myself talk about the book and tell people that I had done the book, is that there's this, I think, level of surprise and I think excitement. At least that was my experience. Please let me know what your reception was. But like the little girl that you said, you're looked at differently when you say you've published a book.
Yeah, I would agree with that, actually, because people come up to me and they go, "How do you feel?" And I say, "I feel accomplished." Everyone is just so like, "You're an author." And I think it's a little bit inside of every single person who really wants to get their own book out there, but they've not done it as yet. But like you taught us, and I will be happy to show them, and move them on the same way as well, because it's a little book inside of all of us, isn't there?
Yeah. And I'm so glad you said that last piece. I've heard that phrase so many times. There's a book in all of us, but many of us, I did, because I've written books, written and published books. And I love writing. Writing is a huge part of one of my giftings that I have. But people do look at you differently when you're a published author. But in my experience, probably 98% of when we say there's a book inside of us, we immediately assume that the book has to be written, a written book. I didn't really understand coloring books. I didn't grow up with coloring books, although maybe I did when I was younger. I don't remember. But it's not a lesser thing. It's very much an accomplishment, and a book is a book. If it's something that I can hold and look at and get excited about and go, I look at the back of your designs. If you have an artistic spirit, it can't help but make you smile. It can't help but make you want to engage with it. And say to anybody, if it's something you're thinking about, don't poo-poo it as, oh, it's not important because it's not a written book. It's not a novel. Everyone talks about the great American novel or whatever. This is just as important, I think, if not more so, because once we read a written book, we put it on the shelf and we're done, or loan it to a friend. But you have to spend time on this.
That's right. And you get inspired whilst you're sort of like colouring something in or thinking about an image. And so I've left bits at the back of the book blank, so you can put your little doodles or your inspirations or whatever you feel alongside it as well, because you will. Once you start focusing, something else comes to your mind and you can just jot it down somewhere else at the back.
Yeah, there are notes here, pages for line, pages to put ideas and inspiration. So so it really is a journal. It's a coloring planner and journal. I love create, dream. And you've got like little simple, you can see this. I don't know if you can see this. It's like a little apple at the bottom, and then on this one, here's like a banana at the bottom. I just love it. It's powerful in its simplicity. And I feel like that's what makes it also more special. And I recommend to everyone, get your hands on a copy of Marsha's book, because I know for a fact that she's up to amazing things. This is only the beginning, trust me. There's going to be much more coming from this amazing artist and creator. Any final thoughts for anyone thinking about following in your path?
If you're thinking about doing a coloring book, you have a little idea, Rodney is the person to help you get it out there. So he's got loads of tips and, so much going on. I would not have been able to do it without you. So if you want to do a coloring book, go over to Rodney Washington and help, and he will take you through step by step. I mean, there was times when I was panicking. I can't do it. And he's like, yes, you can. We got this. It's just a book.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm real patient and I get it. I was sharing with, I think it was Michelle the other day. I had a client years ago, brought me, actually someone still in my life, brought me back full circle, that was helping her set up her newsletter. I was saying to her, copy a block of text and cut and paste to the next thing. And she says, what's cut and paste? And so I actually had to learn to be patient with the fact that, yeah, I was doing it and it was something that was second nature to me, but I had also been doing it for a few years. At some point, I didn't know what it was.
Mm.
So when I moved into now being an educator, which I adore being, is that the patience is the paramount thing. And breaking things down very simply is the paramount thing, because I want all of you to know how to do this for yourselves. If I've been put on my heart to do it, then I've got to be patient. I've got to be able to show you in a way, because once you know it, you can't unknow it. And that's the reason why I love all of you so much, because you allowed me to then practice my patience and practice my ability to break down things and explain them in simple ways that didn't talk down to you, but just showed you and then support you.
Yeah, I think the difference between your way of doing things and some other maybe very chic, sleek things is that there's not the personal touch to it. They've just got it all recorded, done, delivered. So it's good to have the one-to-one where you can actually ask a question and go, oh, I didn't really quite get that. You also got, you recorded it as well, which is fantastic. I can go back to it. But also you've got the one-to-one as well. So that's good.
Yeah. So I enjoyed it. As any of you listening, thank you so much for saying that. I am going to be reopening the doors to the next cohort of the Publish and Promote Your Coloring Book in 30 Days program. And I will be sending out information about that as well. If you're interested in getting on the wait list about that, I'll be talking about that more in a couple of weeks. Thank you for your gift. Thank you for your talent. Thank you for trusting me. And thank you for giving us this gift of do all things with kindness. I really, really appreciate it and I honor you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for your kindness.
Thanks so much for listening. Links to the author's book and other resources are available in the show notes.